Hey everyone, I just wanted to hop on here and explain a couple of setups that I saw today and one trade I took today. And then I'm going to go over some psychology and mentality tips, so make sure to stick around. All right, let's get right into it. First setup we had was on Lyft. And again, I'm just going to go over the setups that triggered today from my pre market plan that I had. Lyft I had was a setup that everyone's been watching. You can see this massive wedge here. Key level I was looking at was 56.61 or about 56.6, that area. Simply because it was acting as a good support and resistance level. We did have 1 hour supply here, which was something to take note of, but not too concerned about it just because it's not the strongest. But I mean, it did create quite a bit of a reaction. So it was definitely something to consider. 50 Entering at 56, the whole number was also an option. Just not the best or the highest quality. Um, so yeah, but that's why I like 56.6. And you can see that we just obliterated through this 1 hour supply, which was around about this 56.8 area. And I would have entered, sticking to my plan, I would have entered right as we broke 56.61 and this wedge break. It corresponded exactly with the wedge break, which is exactly what we want to see. Double confirmation, we are above VWAP. A little bit of an increasing volume here. Not the best volume you want to see, but certainly enough volume to give us the momentum. You can see this candle, the first candle of the day, had awesome momentum, awesome volatility. Not the best volume, but still worked out. Would have entered as soon as I saw volatility come in. If we saw on a 1 minute chart, just to break it down even further, you could have gotten in as soon as, right above, right as, anticipating this little 1 minute RBNR, could have got in right above. You could even see that we had increasing volume on a 1 minute time frame. And my first price target one was 57.53, so I probably would have scaled into strength here, taking one off and then letting the rest ride to PT1. And then my PT2, if I was swinging this name, was about $60. But I didn't get in this again because I was in class, actually, which was part of the mental issues I had today, or psychology issues, rather. So this setup would have worked out. Had I played it, it would have worked out beautifully and worked out immediately, which is what you want to see. So, that already infuriated me a little bit that I saw this setup work out. I missed it because I was away. And so that was a little bit annoying. And then I saw Roku as well. My plan was to take puts below 275. And the reason why 275 is because it's a huge psychological number. You can see that it has been acting as support in the long or the higher time frame. And we've kind of just been stalling around here. And what I'd like to see was I saw this decreasing volume. We had a green candle here, but look at this volume. It's pretty much non-existent, which means to tell me that sellers are still kind of in control. We had this huge gap down, this huge upper wick. Buyers have not been present around this 275 area, which is what you want to see at a big number like this. And you can speculate that you can create a supply here, daily supply, which is exactly what happened. So given those reasons, and then we also have this 15-minute wedge here, or the triangle looking thing. So given all of that, 275 was looking like a good entry for puts. And this also worked out very, very nicely. We had strong, very, very, very strong VBM heading towards this 275 level. I mean, look at this candle. Not much volume on it, to be honest. You can see, but it's just pure selling pressure. Pure selling pressure. We're below VWAP. You could have entered as soon as, anticipating the break of 275, and then scaled as soon as we have a nice push down. And look at that. We, went down about $3. And that's a decent move. That's a decent move on the contracts. You could have caught that pretty nicely. And, maybe you stop out or, sell the last one for, not as big of a gain, but definitely it would have been a nice trade again. So given that Roku has been relatively weak compared to the rest of the market, it would have been a great trade, and that was just something that I missed out on. So keeping those two trades in mind that I was not around for the first 5 minutes of the market, excuse me, and I missed both these setups because, again, I was in class, and it was just super frustrating to miss out on these big moves. And I was just kind of in the mental state that why does this always happen when I'm in class or I'm away from my desk? And then what happens was I start getting FOMO and I start kind of forcing these trades and not really in the right headspace for a good trade. So let's take a look at what happened on ES. And this is what the one trade of the day that I did take, excuse me, And it actually was a pretty good trade. I thought it was a good trade, just terrible entry and risk management. That's the theme of the month for me, is working on risk management and our risk to reward as well. So the context I've had here was, you can see that, we are at all-time high, but we've been kind of stalling out here. So I wanted to see that sellers sort of, kind of step in here, and I noticed this 30-minute supply. Excuse me. Actually, I'll do it on compare it to NQ side by side. So I saw this 30-minute supply here, and I was looking for sellers to become active here, and you can see that we broke out of this little wedge pattern. So I was looking for and 4680 has been a huge support and resistance level. We kind of double topped up here, or right around here. So I was looking for kind of a triple top, and that was the thesis. I was really wanted to see NQ hit this supply level. This is a supply zone. Sorry, it's green, but just pretend it's red. So I really wanted to see NQ bounce up to here, and then that would have given me extra confirmation to take ES short. And the reason why I wanted to take ES over NQ is you can tell that it's relatively weaker than NQ. You can see that here we kind of been stalling out in the with 5-minute candles, whereas NQ was continuously pushing up here. So I'll explain my entry. So I got in, the RR was a little bit skewed, and I should have entered probably right as I saw us leaving, or seller pressure come in and leaving the supply zone with the stop above the high of the day at 46.78, but I didn't. And that was my initial stop anyway. So I entered right about here as I saw us leaving supply with increased volume, which was a good key. Just to break it down on a 1-minute time frame. Again, I was not even looking at a 1-minute time frame, but just to see it even clearer, you could see that we kind of have an increase in volume here with selling pressure, and we're coming out of this zone, and it was kind of working out. It worked out for a little bit. It worked out for about 5 points. And then we kind of reversed a little bit, and I thought, oh my goodness, I panicked, and I was like, here we go again, just my luck. We didn't really show any great signs of rejection here, but NQ was showing weakness. We kind of put in this top here, this high of the day actually, and we started coming down, and that's also why when I saw this candle, large upper wick, volume increasing, I saw, all right, I'm going to take this on ES. Now, my initial stop was high of day, and I should have stuck with that. Because my target was this 30-minute demand here. So risk or reward was actually fairly good. I just didn't stick to the plan. What I should have done was, if I did exit here, I should have entered again closer up to, let's just say I did stop out. So I stopped out. I kind of was just like, oh my goodness, great. What I should have done is I should have entered here again as soon as I saw us kind of coming down again. And my stop should have been 2 points, at the high of day. So had I, stuck with my plan, sure, I was stalling out a little bit, but look what happened. We sold off, and the plan, the analysis was perfect. I even said, to a friend, if we can break this range, we're going to be doing, puts are going to work nicely. So even here would have been, a good entry. VWAP was there too, so that could have been another target had you done that. But I really liked supply, and if, it would have been a small loss for a huge gain. So and now look at this. We are over, we sold off. We sold off pretty hard. Contracts when I bought in were about $1. So just to give you an idea, they're at 3.4 now. You can see up here. So about 200%, a little more, 250%. Really upsetting that I actually stopped out for a loss. But just goes to show you, it is so important to stick to your plan and have a good RR. If I had a good RR and I entered, just stuck with my initial stop here, would have been risking about, let's say, 4 points for a move of, it was a 3-to-1 RR. I should have just stuck with the plan, and it just shows you that you gotta stick with the plan no matter what. And if I did that and just let it run, in about 2 hours later, would have gotten about 100% on the contracts. So pretty upsetting. I don't know if it was that much, but it was a good move, maybe 50 to 75% on the contracts. So it just shows that I have all the right pieces there. It just didn't, it was kind of just the psychological factors of just missing the 2 trades in the morning because of class. I wasn't around to trade them. I was just like, all right, I gotta make up for that. And look what happens. I miss out on the plan, don't follow through, and that's why it's so important to stick with the plan. Remove emotions, trade like a robot. And if this trade didn't work out, I really would have been upset. But at least I stuck to the plan. So in this case, it's double L. But I guess the only win I could see is yeah. Well, there's really, I don't know. The win from here is to learn this lesson. So hope you guys learned something from this video, and thank you so much for watching.